The House on Blackwood Road. Chapter 6. It Wakes. The pounding didn't stop. Hour after hour, the thing beneath the floorboard struck with a rhythm that made no sense, but still felt deliberate. Sometimes it was slow, like the pulse of something alive. Sometimes it was rapid and violent, like fists slamming against a coffin lid. Each blow rattled the walls, shook the air vents, made dust rain from the ceiling. Emma sat curled against the bedroom wall, her knees pulled tight to her chest, the crowbar clutched in her hands like a talisman. Daniel paced the floor, stopping every few minutes to press his ear against the boards. "It's closer," he whispered. Emma flinched. "Don't say that." "I can hear it." He lifted his head, eyes dark and sunken. "It's moving. It's not just under. It's coming up." They'd tried to call for help, of course. Every phone in the house, Emma's, Daniel's, even the old landline they'd found in the kitchen, had gone dead hours ago. The signal bars flickered and vanished as soon as they dialed. The front door still wouldn't open. Neither would the back. Even the windows, which had been clear the first day, now showed nothing but a black fog pressed against the glass, swallowing the world outside. It wasn't night anymore. It wasn't day either. Time had stopped behaving normally. Emma checked her watch. The second hand had frozen sometime between 3:14 and 3:15. "This isn't possible," she whispered to herself. "This isn't real." Daniel snapped. "Emma, stop!" She stared at him. His face was pale and glistening with sweat. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. "I'm serious," he said. "If you keep saying it's not real, you're going to break. We need you to hold it together." "We?" she echoed. "Daniel, there's no one else here." He blinked. Something unreadable flickered in his eyes. "Right," he muttered. "Right, just us." But for a second, just a second, Emma thought she saw a shadow standing behind him, tall and thin, its outline like smoke in the air, and when she blinked, it was gone. They moved downstairs together. The air grew heavier with every step, thick like they were walking into water. The kitchen light had stopped working, but the fridge still hummed, louder than before, like a breathing thing. "Listen," Daniel said. Emma froze. The whispers were back, but this time they weren't coming from below. They were everywhere. Sliding through the walls, down the chimney, behind the kitchen tiles, 100 voices, soft and childlike, speaking in overlapping tones. "Come play. Come down. It's almost time. Wake up." Emma pressed her hands over her ears. It didn't help. The whispers didn't need ears. They were inside. Daniel grabbed the crowbar from her. He pried at the living room floorboards where the pounding was loudest. "Daniel," she hissed, "what are you doing?" "It wants out," he said simply. "Exactly. So why are you—" "If it wants out, we can see it. We can fight it." His breathing quickened. "We can't just sit here and wait." Emma shook her head, backing away. "You don't understand. It wants you to open it." Daniel slammed the crowbar down. A board cracked. The smell rushed out first, that same rot and damp, but stronger now, laced with something sharp, metallic, blood and soil. "Daniel, stop!" He swung again. Something whispered his name from beneath the floorboards. The board splintered. The tunnel yawned below them, breathing out a wind so cold Emma's skin pebbled instantly. The whispering ceased. Everything went silent. Then, slowly, like it was crawling from a grave, a hand emerged. Pale, long fingers, nails black and curved. It gripped the edge of the floor and pulled. Daniel stumbled backward, staring as the and was followed by an arm, too long, jointed wrong, bending where no joint should be. A second arm followed, then the head. It wasn't the child creature they'd seen earlier. This was something older, bigger. A figure hauled itself from the dark, its limbs folding and unfolding like an insect's. Its skin hung loose, pale and gray like soaked paper. Its face looked almost human, but stretched and hollow like a doll that had melted and hardened again. Its mouth split from ear to ear. It was smiling. Emma screamed. Daniel froze. The thing tilted its head toward him like a curious dog. Then it spoke. Not in sound, in his head. Daniel. He dropped the crowbar and clutched his temples. His knees buckled. "Get out of my head," he gasped. The creature slithered forward. Its movements weren't natural. They were like watching a puppet whose strings were pulled by something that didn't understand human anatomy. Its feet didn't make sound against the floor. Its arms dragged like it had no weight at all. Emma lunged for the crowbar. She swung. The metal connected with its shoulder. The sound was wrong. Not bone, not flesh, like hitting packed earth. The creature didn't flinch. It only turned its head toward her, slowly, the way a child might turn to look at a buzzing fly. Then it smiled wider. Daniel screamed. His voice wasn't his own anymore. It came out layered, doubled, like someone else was screaming with him. He dropped to the floor, convulsing, whispering words Emma couldn't understand. The creature crouched beside him, one long finger brushing his cheek like a parent comforting a child. "You've come back," the voices whispered through the walls. "He's the one. He remembers." Emma raised the crowbar again, but her hands were shaking too hard to aim. The thing turned toward her, and she felt it, inside her cull, something brushing against her thoughts like cold fingers. Images flashed behind her eyes. A group of children walking down the same tunnel decades ago. A tall figure waiting in the dark, humming a lullaby. The floorboards sealed shut. The children never walking back out. Emma screamed and swung the crowbar blindly. The creature reared back, not in pain, but in irritation, like a spider brushed away from its web. "Daniel!" she shouted. "Get up!" But Daniel's eyes had turned black. He rose slowly, like something was pulling the strings. His movements matched the creature's. When it tilted its head, he did too. When it took a step forward, so did he. "Dan!" Emma whispered. "Please!" "He's ours," the voices crooned. "He was always ours." Daniel lunged at her. She barely dodged. His hand slammed into the wall where her head had been, leaving cracks in the plaster. She stumbled backward, screaming his name, but the thing wearing his body didn't answer. It was smiling now, the same way the creature did. Emma scrambled for the stairs. She could hear Daniel, or what had become of him, moving behind her, not running, crawling, the sound of hands and feet scraping along the floor like the child creature from before. She burst into the hallway, slammed the bedroom door, and pushed a dresser in front of it. A second later, thud, Daniel's body slammed into the other side. The pounding started again, not from below this time, from every wall. The whispers grew louder, like hundreds of tiny mouths were pressed to her ears. "He opened the door. He let us in. Now you stay. Play, play." Emma clamped her hands over her ears and screamed. She didn't recognize her own voice. The house groaned, the floorboards warping as if breathing. Shadows slid across the ceiling, long and thin and finger-like. The dresser shifted an inch, then another. Daniel was strong, or what had taken him was. She ran to the closet and grabbed the only other weapon she could find, a broken piece of pipe they'd found earlier in the basement. The pounding stopped. Then came the whisper, close, right outside the door. "Emma." It was Daniel's voice, but it wasn't Daniel. "Open the door. I don't want to hurt you." She gripped the pipe tighter, her voice cracked. "Daniel, fight it, please." Silence. Then a whisper, softer. "I'm trying." Her heart twisted. For a moment she almost reached for the handle. Then the laughter came, high-pitched, childlike. The door exploded inward. Daniel crashed through, crawling on all fours, his head jerking, limbs bending at angles that should have been impossible. His mouth was too wide, the black of his eyes reflecting no light. Emma swung the pipe. It connected with his arm. He didn't even flinch. He lunged. She ducked, scrambled back, and jammed the pipe into his shoulder. For a second, something else screamed through him, a layered, echoing shriek. "Let him go!" she screamed. The creature behind him emerged from the hallway shadows, crawling along the ceiling like a spider, its limbs stretched wide, mouth splitting open. The house shook, the ceiling cracked, the floorboards below them buckled as the whispering crescendoed into chanting. "Under the floor! Under the floor! Under the floor!" Emma staggered backward, grabbing the heavy metal lamp from the bedside table. She swung it at Daniel's head. This time, the impact knocked him sideways. He crashed into the wall, dazed for a heartbeat. The black in his eyes flickered. "Dan!" she screamed. "I need you! Look at me!" For a single, flickering moment, he did. "Run!" he whispered, his own voice. Then the black swallowed his eyes again. Emma bolted out of the room. She didn't look back. The walls around her pulsed like veins. The photographs on the walls had changed. Every picture now showed the same thing, the tunnel and the pit, and dozens of blank-eyed children standing in rows. The staircase warped beneath her feet, the steps lengthening like taffy, pulling her down, down, down. She tripped at the bottom and crashed against the front door. She grabbed the knob. It turned. Her heart leaped, and then froze. Outside the door wasn't the yard. It was the tunnel. The black earth stretched on forever. Whispers swirled in the air like mist. Emma slammed the door shut and screamed. Daniel's footsteps came down the stairs behind her, uneven and inhuman. The creature crawled along the walls like a shadow with teeth. Emma stumbled back into the living room, gripping the crowbar she'd dropped earlier. Her breathing came fast and shallow. Her skin burned with cold sweat. The thing wearing Daniel stepped into the room. It tilted its head again, their head, in perfect unison with the tall creature beside him. "You're already home," the whispers sang. "You were always home." The fireplace roared to life without flame. Inside, something moved. Dozens of thin, pale hands pressed against the soot-black bricks like children trying to crawl through. Emma whispered to herself, "I'm not going to die here." She raised the crowbar. Her hands no longer shook. The creature smiled wider. And somewhere beneath the floorboards, something enormous awoke.
Coming Chapter 7s. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more horror video.